Oh, hey, welcome. Holy cow. I didn't want that. Not yet. Oh, for the love of Sam Walton. There we go. Hey, everybody. I'm back. Big deal, right? Yeah, we didn't miss you. All right. Hey, Doug Vincent. Good to see you, my man. Peter Higgs and all you rest of you who are here. New Orleans was an absolute blast. I did not spend very much time worrying about what the hell the church did or anybody in the church, which is also one of my big vacation. Yeah, I'm telling you. I think critics of the church are more Mormon now than they ever have been when they were active, because they won't quit regurgitating the same old stuff. And so this vacation was a mental vacation, a physical vacation, and a spiritual vacation, even though I did get quite a bit done. I made 2 documentaries. Nobody watches them, but it's all good because in time, the information will get out there eventually to the right person. And I made a lot of dad jokes and all that, but I had fun in Nolans. I did learn from the natives. You do not pronounce it New Orleans. That's how you do it in the West. When you're down there, you got to call it what it is. It's Nolans. You got to call it Nolans. So there we have it. So I did learn something. So, the Bourbon Street War story, Peter Higgs, it's coming up. I've got videos. If I can put them on, my computer has just given me all kinds of problems. I'm going to blame the computer because it can't defend itself, but it's been so long since I've done this stuff that it's probably my fault. But I will confess, the Mississippi River was smaller than I thought it was going to be, even though it's huge. And New Orleans was much bigger than I thought it was going to be. And so this was kind of fun. From a distance, all you can seem to see is 1 or 2 skyscrapers until you get right downtown. And my brother-in-law, bless his heart, he came and got us several times and took us out to eat, and we had some good food. We had a good time. It was quite interesting to visit such a big city. We went into the French Quarter, and we did go on Bourbon Street and walked up and down Bourbon Street. I've got a couple videos, but it was during the week. It was at the quiet time. We didn't get there on the weekend. My daughter-in-law did not have, my stepdaughter, I should say. I say daughter-in-law, I shouldn't call her that. My stepdaughter did not have her vehicle running. It all worked out. My brother-in-law came in and took us to a gorgeous plantation. I'm hoping to show you some videos, maybe some slides. I made some slides, and somehow my computer has updated. Again, I'm going to blame the technology because I'm too stupid to keep up on vacation anyway. And I've got some slides of Oak Alley Plantation, 1,000 acres of sugarcane. And they've turned it into a museum, and it's just eye-opening. It is absolutely mind-blowing. I did not get the Cajun chicken ate, but I have never been to New Orleans before. No, so I was very happy to be here. Yeah, Bower Lord, how are you? Hey, Don Smith. Slides, how quaint. Yeah, I'm old-fashioned. I've actually got video clips I'm going to show you. In fact, let me show you one of the most stunning thing. Tim Rathbone, welcome. Yeah, I am too. I made it back, and I've been sick for 5 days. I'm just now recovering. It's been the toughest recovery I've ever had. I can't believe how sick I am, or have been, until just this morning. I'm feeling a little better, so I'm getting my energy back. So let me show you one of the pristine parts of New Orleans. The oak trees. They're absolutely astonishing. They're beautiful. So let me show you one of my, I've got a couple of slides I'm showing you, and I'm talking in the camera while I'm driving, or while my brother's driving. So here we go. Here's my first slide to show you. I'm actually going to take a video of that. This is St. Charles.
No, this is Carrollton.
All the old oak trees going across the road, giving us shade with all the classic architecture. This is awesome, man. It's like a tunnel of trees. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed the drive down St. Charles. Now, St. Charles, we came up around Nolens, not New Orleans. It's Nolens. We came up and around Nolens, got onto a street that took us to the famous St. Charles, turned on St. Charles. That's where the trolleys are, and then drove up St. Charles. And I believe these next two video clips are of St. Charles, and it's staggering. These are 250-year-old trees, and they've let them grow for years, and it's absolutely awesome how they've done. I mean, you do not damage trees in Nolens. No way. They love their trees. I really wish more cities did this. It's very, very attractive and very beautiful. Now that's how downtown should look. That is pretty spectacular. Buildings correctly, artistically. They don't build them like that anymore. Then all of this is the famous St. Charles Boulevard. All of that wonderful old architecture. That's when they built buildings correctly, artistically. They don't build them like that anymore. Then all of these magnificent oak trees over the road. New Orleans.
Oh, road is closed.
Hey, Newton Lemos, welcome back. Yeah, and I got chigger bites like crazy. I'm wondering if I got ate alive by bugs. I've got bites all over my arms. I mean, it's horrible, and they've been itching for days. So I've been kind of up and down for the last week or so. Yeah, good to see you, Newton. Thanks for coming on. So that's some of the drive into the city, and then of course we had to stop at the very let me show you some of the architecture now. And I've complained about this for a long time, ever since I took my look. Yeah, I get it. Rick's College, back when it was Mormon owned, right? I mean, it's still Mormon owned, but now it's BYU Idaho. But back when it was Rick's College, I'm not kidding. Some of the architecture that is in Old Town Rexburg and on the older part of the campus, of Rick's College, is absolutely exquisite. It really is. It's just glorious. And back then they knew how to build architecture. And then I studied the Renaissance, and my Renaissance professor at Rick's was absolutely one of the best. He could just sit at the piano and just start playing Liszt, Beethoven, Bach, Mozart. It did not matter. That man knew, and he had no music in front. He just sat there and started playing. Then he'd talk to us. He was perpendicular to us. He started playing. He says, "Now you notice this difference with Mozart. And he said, now listen to the rhythm and beat of Bach." And then he'd play a selection of Bach. He said, "Now Liszt, he was the animal. You can't hardly learn Liszt." And then he started rattling. And we learned the different musical ways of the Renaissance. Hey, Eddie Guerrera, from listening to him. And it was spectacular. Well, he showed us the architecture and the art of the Renaissance. Now this is on my bucket list. Now, I've gotten one item on my bucket list done. I wanted to visit Nolens. Hey, Steve Acosta. Welcome to you yourself. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good to be back so I can tell you all about my trip. But I've always been complaining about the architecture in the United States. It sucks. We suck. And you know what? The public ought to be speaking out against this. Yes, we get it. Boxes, put up quick boxes so that you can make your multiple millions. Well, money is not the answer to all things. Everybody seems to think it is. It's not. Yeah, it's nice. But can't you take some time to really put together some beautiful buildings like they used to. I think we can. I think we could be able to do better. So that's my take on that. So anyway, here is one of the architectural homes that my brother-in-law was kind enough to stop and show. That's fabulous. Wow. Oh, that's it? Oh, I thought it would be longer than that. Maybe it's this next one. I wonder if it's the next one. Let me show you. Oh, well, this was a fascinating thing I saw too. And we saw this in several places, but look how the oaks take over. This is so interesting. Tree roots as big as the oak tree. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Look at that. Look at that tree root all the way along the edge of that gutter. It comes all the way down. Wow. The tree root's as big as the oak tree. Yeah, the tree root had grown all the way out over the curb and had stretched down the street. And we saw several trees that did that, which I thought was really, really interesting. Yes, the South is. And the Oak Alley plantation that we went to, that I'm going to try to find the slides and show you, is absolutely a staggering testament to the beauty of the architecture of that time and place. We saw several different plantations, but the Oak Alley is probably the most famous. And here's another one that's beautiful. Now that's commercial.
Yeah, like I said, we're going to
Getting into the commercial stuff here.
But the French Quarter is like totally different.
Very nice. Oh, no, this is no, that one, come on. I had pre-played that. Hold on. I had pre-played this one too.
Yeah.
Row after row of just incredible buildings. Now that's... Yeah, we had gone about 10 blocks getting to downtown. And on both sides were just absolute sumptuous, gorgeous 2, 3, 4, and 5-story mansions. And they weren't just concrete slabs boring like you do here in the West, or just quick slap it up sheetrock squares. They were incredible. It was like castles. They were really something gorgeous. Let's see what I think I'm going to try this one again. I think I pre-started. This is downtown New Orleans. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm downtown here, and of course, Marriott Hotel is the tallest building. Why doesn't that surprise me? Very nice. First time ever. Cool. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Okay, this is the world famous French Quarter in New Orleans. There's the famous statues of whoever. There's a nice tree. I'm gonna do a tourist thing. I'm gonna walk out in the street like an idiot. Okay, I'm out in the middle of the street like a moron. Woohoo! I can get away with this. I'm a tourist. There's the French Quarter. First time ever. Cool. Yeah, I was having so much fun. I didn't give a flying flip what people thought of me. I was walking all over the place, videoing, taking pictures and stuff. Typical, you know. And I've got 2 more of these I want to show you. Or have I done this one already? Yes. Okay, here's another one. If downtown New Orleans. Now, it really surprised me because from a distance, these buildings did not look that tall, but these are like 20, 25, 30-story buildings. And I'm just not used to that. I know I'm small. I am small town meat and potatoes. I am a nobody, nothing, and I live in nowhere. And this just kind of, wow, overwhelmed me. Bourbon Street was just so much fun. I couldn't hardly stand it. And we went during the slow time, and it was still awesome.
Balconies for miles in the French Quarter. Wow, this is awesome.
That's one of my French Quarter ones. And then, oh, okay, now, and I asked again, I still cannot get this in my mind, what kind of a food it is. Boucher. I can't think of it to save my life. I am a numbskull. But we went to the Café du Monde and had it. And I did a quick video. I love this because it's an open cafe. And it's wide open to the street. And there was a guy out there tap dancing. And there was a guy out there who was a mime. And it was just spectacular. And the food was absolutely delicious. They just covered this with a mountain of powdered sugar. It's not a donut. But it's, you dip it in your coffee and then put your sugar over it because it's somewhat bitter. And then you start eating it. And, oh, man, it was so good. I couldn't hardly stand it. It was absolutely delicious.
We are at the Café du Monde. It's an open cafe here in the French Quarter. It's absolutely lovely. Everything's open. Absolutely spectacular. Nice fresh breeze off of the Mississippi. It's a ball here.
So that was where my brother-in-law insisted on taking us to have a treat. And yes, I ate my whole plate full. It's just the way it was. I was on vacation, so absolutely. Yeah, they do, Doug. That's what I was told. Beignets. Yes, that's it. Beignet. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure how you pronounce or spell it, but yeah, that's it. Beignets. And they were delicious. And the Café du Monde was really a good place to do it at, too. So, hey, Radio Free Mormon, good to see you too, my friend. Yes, I'm back. And no, the crawfish did not kill me. That was fabulous. I've got to upload. In fact, while I'm talking, I'm going to re-upload several of these files. Or I say re-upload. I didn't mean re-upload. I mean, I'm going to. There it is. There's one that I want. You can share up to 10 videos at once. Oh, I've got to remove some of my existing videos. See, this is the problem. I am such a klutz with all of this technology that I'm going to remove these videos, and then I will get 10 more here because we had a fantastic feast on Mother's Day. I was able to email some of you to share with you some of the good food that we ate. And it was outrageous. It was really tremendous. Well, here's this. Let me show you this. This is my stepdaughter's oak in her backyard. And it's absolutely massive. It goes for, its limbs are 80 to 100 feet long. And they go way up in the air. The entire oak itself, it's about 250 years old. But the base of that oak, I can stand at the base of that oak and stretch my arms out, and I can't hardly, there's no way it would take, I thought she said 36 feet all the way around. So yeah, Doug, you were saying that you had crawfish as well. That's kind of cool. So let me get some more of these videos real quick for you. I'll see if I can do this quick so that we're not wasting. Oh, that's a fun one.
There you go. I'm going to do the tourist thing. I'm giving myself away. Look at all that nice railing on all the balconies. That's awesome. French Quarter in New Orleans.
Yeah, that was another one of those. I mean, the balconies just go for miles on both sides. There are 3 and 4 and 5 story buildings in many of the neighborhoods, on many of the streets that go perpendicular to Bourbon Street. And there are parties and people on every single balcony as far as the eye can see. And we went at a slow time. It was just mind-boggling. It was, and my brother-in-law said, next time you come here next year, he said, well, if you can't get here during Mardi Gras, he doesn't want to go. He'd been to it. He's seen it. He doesn't like it because he's the native. He said, no, Mardi Gras isn't the fun time, but it's a wild time. But anyway, yeah, he had a lot of fun taking us around and showing us the places. Let me see if I can get a few more of these. What is this? Oh, this is that kid. This is that kid. I'll show you this.
I can take your picture next to him if you want.
Then you gotta pay.
And so he was he was interrupting people. He was interrupting dinner, but they do that all the time, we were told. And so we went and watched him and then dropped $1 or $2 in the box, you know, for him. But he would tap dance and clap his hands to the beat, and he had his music and all. Did you notice his shoes were sneakers and he had taps on them? And he was pretty good. He obviously did that a lot. And then if I remember right, another one that was near to that one, if I can find the video real quick. Let me see if I can find it. No, that's just downtown. That's not the one I want to show you. That's another one of the French Quarter. I've shown you the French Quarter. I did not expect to be in the French Quarter when this guy right here. Now, realize it's 85 degrees right now. And this is like 7 o'clock at night. And this guy has been standing there for 6 hours.
He's been still like that for 6 hours, they say. He's a mime. It's fascinating.
Solid silver painted. And I walked up to him to see, you know, I didn't do anything stupid, but take your picture with him, you know, and then you drop $1 in the bucket or whatever. But the heat of that silver paint, it was all over his face, his glasses, his clothes. I don't know how a guy can do that standing in the sun and survive. That takes some real skill. So anyway, that was kind of fun to see. And he was right across the street from where we had those beignets. So that he was close also. So I had to show you that one. And that was kind of fun. Oh, and there's another one of the balcony. I've shown you that one. And let's go to here we go.
There is the mighty Mississippi right in New Orleans.
It was really windy that night.
Look at that wonderful boat.
They say you can ride on that boat if you want to. We didn't have the time. We'll probably do that again another year, but that'll take you up and down the Mississippi and show you Nolens from the river side of things, which would be kind of cool and fun to do. Got another little video here I wanted to show you. That's the cafe, not that one. Oh, that's the mime, not that one. Oh yeah, this is walking down Bourbon Street. We're on Bourbon Street here. We're walking down Bourbon Street. And it's like this the whole way down. The noise, the song, the music, the people going in and out and walking up and down the street and saying hi to you. It is fascinating. And like I say, we were there on a Wednesday, and so it was really kind of quiet. I didn't know Fast Domino was down there. I'm so ignorant of who's what, where, and how that I wouldn't have known to even try to see Fast Domino's house. That would be fun to see his house, though. Man, he was a He was a legend to watch play pool, wasn't he? He was spectacular. Here's another one of Bourbon Street.
There's downtown New Orleans from Bourbon Street.
For whatever reason, I just was not aware that Bourbon Street went right down into downtown New Orleans, and then you can turn around and walk all the way. We had enough time. We didn't get there till 7 o'clock at night, so we only had enough time to walk up maybe 8 blocks or so, and it was really fantastically interesting. And he said, if you really want a wild time, come on a weekend. He said it's just standing room only. And in Mardi Gras, during Mardi Gras, he said there's 1 million people crammed into this small French Quarter area on Bourbon Street in just these 8 blocks. He said, and I'm not kidding. He said, you can't even move your arms. It is standing room only. And I thought, well, yeah, I don't know if that sounds fun or not. The way we did it, we were able to lackadaisically look in on places and, go in shops and check things out and stuff like that. So I rather had fun going on a slow time. And some people would say, yeah, well, it's much more fun in the busy time. Yeah, I get that. It's all good. Not a big deal. Oh, I showed you that one. Oh, here's another one. I wonder why this is so quiet. Oh, somehow I was in this is the second copy of this recording. I was on the street. I'm in the house recording this. I don't know how I did that, but that's another one of downtown on Bourbon Street. That was fun to walk down there and see it. Then there's one, and there's one, and let's see what this one is. Yeah, that's the, I wonder how come I had to, and then there's one of the oaks. I've shown you that one. Let me see if I've got this one. Oh, this is I'll show you this one. We went to the baseball game with my grandson. Look how far he gets to us. I wanted to follow him all the way out. He went all the way past the outfielders. I thought that was pretty cool. He hit that ball all the way past the outfielders. So what the heck? They're just teaching it. It's just their first year. And so they're teaching them to, and I remember not whole baseball, man. I had so much fun in not whole baseball. They're teaching them to run and be sure and touch the base at first plate. But all of the kids, and it'll come probably next year, all of the kids just stop at first base. Every kid just goes one base at a time. They don't keep going, even though the ball is almost all the way to the fence. It's really kind of cute and fun to watch. Kind of interesting. Oh, yeah, St. Patrick's is wild too, Doug's saying. Yeah, I'll bet it is. I'll bet it is. So that's one of the, let me see if I can, I know I've got some more videos of some really interesting, oh, here we go. Yeah, baby. Now we're talking. Now we are talking, mama. Jawohl. Here we go. Hey. There's our Mother's Day feast. Crawfish. This is as fresh as it gets. I want to show you this one clip where I was just so stunned to see the entire pan or tub of crawfish. I was just shocked. I had no idea they were going to go that total out on crawfish for Mother's Day. Whoop. So let me see if can I find this? Yeah, that might be one. Let's see what this one is. I don't know what that is. That's
High
funny.
five. High five, buddy. High five.
Oh, where's my video? Idiot.
It's about as far. You're missing one. You're missing one. You're still aggressive.
All right, hold on. I got another one where I'm high-fiving one of them. They were having a lot of fun with us. Or at least that's how we interpreted it. But then we knew what was happening to them.
Okay,
and
we're
they
gonna
didn't.
high five.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, we're gonna high five this guy. Here we go. Here we go. All right, you ready? High five, buddy. Woohoo! High five. High five. Yeah, high five. He's high fiving us. Good job. Good job. High five us. All right.
They had gotten these that morning so that these were super fresh. Now now see, and this is my lack of culture. I have never had crawfish fresh like this ever in my life, not ever. And so it was just so amazing to me, and how they processed the whole thing was just mind-boggling to me. I had never seen it done, and so I got to see the whole process, which was a thrill for me. So they said I should have dug. I did one, but I couldn't do it. So no, I did one, and that was good enough. But they said that was the best part, and I said, no, I'm a Western U.S. boy. I'm not from the South. I'm not going to do that. So anyway, yeah. You now know that I'm a wuss. Woohoo! El Wusso. All right, let's see. What other one? Oh, now that's Nolans there. Yeah, here's the other. Here's what we were cooking them with.
There we go. Crawfish, potatoes. What else is in there?
Potatoes, sausage, there's some
Sausage, ham, onions,
Garlic.
This garlic. This is our Mother's Day feast right there. Mouths a watering.
Now that tub is not small. We had about 14 of us there. Several people showed and came and showed up and enjoyed the feast with us, family and friends. And so they expected more people to show up, and more people did not show up. So that gave us much more than even they were expecting, and it turned out to be fantastic. Here we go. Here's
Look
the one.
at this Mother's Day dinner. Woohoo! We are talking fresh crawfish, apples, corn, potatoes. Look at that, a whole bucket. And that bucket is not a small bucket. That's at least 22 crawfish to eat right there. What did you say, 22? So you can come back over here a little bit. Fantastic. Woohoo! Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers and all you other guys who are mothers. Oh.
Yes, they put up with my stupid humor. It just blew my mind that they cooked 6 of those pots. I mean, pounds of crawfish, potatoes, sausage, onions, ham, chunks of ham. It was sensational. They had garlic in there, and sweet. It was so delicious. The first bucket, I say bucket, I mean, it was like a 15-gallon bucket that he was cooking them. And the first bucket wasn't as spicy. Okay, so they were getting it warmed up and getting going. So the first bucket wasn't as spicy. And the second bucket was really spicy. And I have to confess, I loved the spicy one. That was so much better than anything I had expected, that I was really, really enjoying that. So totally good. Totally good. All right, let's see what else I've got for you here.
Look at this.
Okay, we just saw that one. So what is this one? Okay, yeah. Now, this is at the Oak Alley.
Here we are at Oak Valley.
This is at the slave
There's an old
quarters.
picture of the slavery of the old plantation.
Yeah,
And that's the actual slave houses right there.
let's go down that way.
Yeah, let's go see this exhibit. And then way over there through the oaks,
Look
is
at
the big
those
house that we're going to get to here just shortly.
Yeah, the grounds here are absolutely breathtaking. There's just dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of gigantic oak trees. And they have a fern that grows all up and down the tree branches and trunk. They call it the resurrection fern. And it's grand beyond description. It's what keeps the people coming back to it without question. So let me grab another one of the, yeah, this one was a fascinating how they did their,
There's the laundry kettle. And there it is. Right there.
things 8 feet across. It's gigantic.
And then there's, oh, sorry. And there's the water filter. That's strong gravel.
That's how they filtered their water in that bucket. And there's a wonderful picture of the folks around those kettles, and that's how they did their laundry. They were the washing machine, which is very, very interesting because the sicknesses that they had to endure, the worms, the infections, the accidents, etc., was horrifying. They said in the time that the plantation existed as such, it was by the time the Civil War, they had over 1,000 slaves. It was 1,000 acres of sugarcane that they were harvesting every year. And they ended up going through about 1,000 slaves. The vast majority of them died. They did not live to retire. Of course not. It's a horror story. It's incredible. While the white guys were up in the lofty, wonderful, cool rooms, enjoying themselves with biscuits and tea and so forth, and planning on making their next $10,000 in a week or whatever, everybody else was out there working. The women were digging the ditches, beating the clothes, washing the clothes. The men were out in the field until after sunset. You constantly got bit by water moccasins and snakes. Then you had a sick house you had to go to. It was incredible. Doug's got a good point. That's why there's a lot of crawfish, because there's not much meat on them. That is true. That is true. But they were sure good. And they were just as sweet as crab, which truly, genuinely surprised me. Oh, here we go. Here's one of the videos I wanted to show you.
All right, this is the Roman sugar plantation here.
There's the house.
People named the Romans were big sugar beets. There's 1,000 acres of property here. We're walking toward the back where the restaurant is, and they have an entire alley of oaks. This is Oak Valley Plantation. 1,000 acres, 660 of it was for sugar production. We're entering the side that has all the slave quarters. This is absolutely lovely to walk through. This vine on the trees is called the resurrection vine. How old did he say these oaks were? 260 years? 260-year-old oaks. Yeah, it's a resurrection fern. It's a resurrection fern that grows on these trees, and it just covers them. Pretty awesome. Boy, it's so beautiful. The last owner in 1927 died, and she bequeathed it to become a museum. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't be here. There's the slave quarters, but those are rebuilt replicas. The old ones have long since, they rebuilt these in 1970s or something like that. There used to be 20 of them. There's only 6 of them now. This is quite the walk. Yeah, they're just little shanties. My house is only slightly larger than those are. Not much. Mine's log though.
So that was a fun little walk the one direction. If I remember right, I also videoed the walk back toward the main house, which is pretty magnificent. It's stunning to behold without question. Oh, no. Hey, I went into the, one of the curators told me that I could go into the shacks that they had made for the slaves, so I
This
did.
is one of the inside of the slave homes. This is a rebuilt model. They had the old plans. They found them.
Not very big. Not very big at all. I was in a very big hurry here because it was getting later than we didn't want to get back too late we didn't want to go back in the dark.
Then this is from the front porch of one of the old slave homes. And there's 3 others over there. They had 20 in all, they said, but they were just single room things. Simple furnishings, very hard looking bed.
Yeah, I would not would have wanted to sleep on that for any length of time, like my entire life. That would have been horrible. Let's see, there's that one I just showed you. Oh, here's another one that shows the interior.
This was the sick house.
Yeah, the sick house.
Got sick, and it was a dangerous place, it says. See the old kettle on the fireplace. The beds are back over there. There were many, many things they could get sick with and have injuries, and it was not a safe environment.
And then one other one that I thought was really poignant that I want to share with you was this the one or was this the one? I think this is the one. Let me show you.
This is another one of the slave houses. I'm going to go around the back here. Go in it. You can hear the birds in the background. Here we go. Now we can go in. Oh, this says do not enter. More of the same, just little beds. And here's probably a dining room here. Oh, this is post-emancipation quarters. There's the pre-Civil War slave quarters. So you can see that's, yeah, little table, just simple wood.
I'm getting closer. I want to show you one thing that they did that really struck me. That was, I thought, quite cool. I mean, technically it's not, but I mean it is. I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one.
Between 1836 and the Civil War, over 220 men, women, and children were enslaved, dehumanized, and quantified like any other commodity. They appear in sales records, inventories.
Oh, sorry. Okay, here we go. This wall, this was amazing. This was cool.
Between 1836 and the Civil War, over 220 men, women, and children were enslaved, dehumanized, and quantified like any other commodity. They appear in sales records, inventories, but they were forgotten by history. This wall is their recognition. In many cases, the name is all we remember of them. Slavery was a horrible, horrible thing. This is the little. So here's the landscape of slavery. We're down around here somewhere. And here's some of their dress. Tillon is a piece of material wrapped around the woman's head. And St. James and St. Michael were the closest Catholic churches to Oak Valley. Here's the Roman place. That's the governor. That was his oldest brother. The owner of, yeah, there's J.T. Roman, Oak Valley. That was his section. Then his brother A.B. was governor.
All right, so that wall was really interesting to me because they didn't bother recording their names of who they were, where they were from, none of the genealogy, etc. So they did, I don't know how they found their names, but they did find their names and at least put them on the wall. I thought that was as good as you're going to get at this point. So anyway, I think I've got one more to show you. Let me see if I thought I had one where I was, more than one. Oh yeah, this is cool too. I wanted to, okay, this one. The last three here. Okay, I've got three more I want to show you. They took care of each other and worked together. They're just trying to show the various tools they had.
Great big old yoke.
For the oxen. And then the horses. And they had teams of specialists for the oxen and horses. Oh, thank you, Doug. Yeah, they had their names from the purchase record. That's true. I look at some of the size of those mansions compared to these slave quarters. I mean, it takes you all but 1 minute to walk around the slave quarter. It takes you about 1 hour to walk through the mountains. Pretty amazing.
Life of labor. That was their annual.
So there's one, and I've got another one I wanted to show you real quick that I thought was extremely interesting. The restraints on people. This collar made noise, so this guy could never hide.
Restraints to keep him around.
They put bells on those spikes.
Shackles.
Those are shackles they put on children as well as adults, so that you couldn't even jog, just barely walk and shuffle.
Children's transport shackles.
Yeah, they put the kids in shackles too, so the kids couldn't escape. I thought that was extremely interesting how so many of those restraints they put around their neck, and they had those spikes going up, and there were bells or clanks or whatever that would make noise as they would walk so that they knew where they were, so that they could not hide. I thought that was extremely interesting. And then the last one I will bore you with and show you. Oh yeah, this was fascinating. This is how they cut their lumber.
Interesting long saw they got on each side of it. And there's a picture of them sawing big beams of lumber.
One guy underneath, one guy on top. One pulling, one pushing. The Serre de Long saw. I thought that was quite interesting because that was how they got so many of those great big beams cut and put together for the mansions. But that's oak they were cutting. And those saws they could not have stayed sharp for very long. That had to have been, I mean, that would have taken hours just to saw one or two beams off. So that's fascinating. So anyway, all right. Yeah, you guys are probably getting ready to head over to Mormon News Roundup. I'm just talking about New Orleans tonight. So what would you like me to do next week? I've been on vacation for 2 weeks. So I'm kind of out of the loop. Is there a specific subject you'd like me to cover? Within Mormonism, something about the Bible, maybe Christian history, something about Jesus, anything. Do you have any comments on what you'd like to see discussed? Let me know real quick. I'm just curious to see if there's any subject that I'm not covering that people are really temple steeples. Yeah. Sidney Rigdon. Ooh, that might work. Yeah, temple steeples, that's their phallic symbol. They think that the proper true worship has to be the higher the temple steeple and all that. No, that's just pure male bonerhead thinking. And we all know they're phallic symbols, so shows you where the brethren are thinking from, their little heads instead of their big ones. So that was probably too rude, huh? True, but rude. Sidney Rigdon, huh? All right, I'll tell you what. I will do that. Yeah, I've got a lot of information on Sidney Rigdon that I will look into. The future of Mormonism and predictions from you in the next 15 years. Ooh, hey. The two-headed monster. Yeah, that would be those who are put in charge are two-headed monsters. I'll drink to that. Future Mormonism might be an interesting one to think through, although it would prove that I am yet not again a prophet, because most of my predictions would not come true. But I can prophesy quite frankly that what they won't do rather than what they will. But they'll try to continue making more money. That's true. Oh, wait, you wanted that for next week. I've been almost an hour here, so I'm going to call it good tonight. But so next week, let's do some Sidney Rigdon. And I'll think about the future of Mormonism and predictions in the next 15 years. That'll put me at almost 80 years old. So what would I like to see if I was 80 years old? That might be interesting, huh? I don't even know if the world's going to be around that long. There's too many people who think they need to own the whole earth and enslave all the rest of us, either spiritually, physically, or psychologically. It's crazy how men lust after power. By the way, I've been doing some good research in J.R.R. Tolkien and his philosophy and his attitude and his ideas. And I want to do some Tolkien, looking into some Tolkien, because that is serious quality literature. You can't go wrong studying Tolkien, in my opinion. And yes, it's fairy story. It's myth. It's legend. It's invented. It's fiction. It has no meaning. Stop. That's where we go awry. Tolkien brings back the meaning through the myth, what he called the fairy, the F-A. I'm going to spell this on purpose because I want you to see this. I'm going to create a banner. Fairy. Oh, and I can't do an umlaut. I'm not sure how to do an umlaut over the E. But Tolkien said that fairy is actually real. It's a very, what he called a perilous land. And we all go in it, during some time in our life, in our course. Some of us stay in it longer than others. Others live in it, etc. But don't kid yourself. Now, he's not talking fairies. He was really adamantly against the European the Victorian era. He couldn't stand how the Victorians bastardized the concept of fairy, of the fairy truth and myth and reality, as a sub-creator world that is based within the reason and logic of our primary world here that we inhabit. Yes, that's true. But Tolkien was very, very adamant that fairies, the bastardized version by the Europeans, that they're little, really tiny, diminutive, cute little girls with fairy wings and flying around. He said that's just pure hokum bullshit. That's not at all what fairy is and means. So, yeah, very, very interesting. The simulation theory and your thoughts on that. Steve, the simulation theory. I don't understand what you mean by simulation theory. That we're in a simulation, a matrix, like that might be interesting. Yeah, that might be very interesting. Yeah, Tolkien. I have been, you know, typical me. I'm always a day late and a dollar short, and I'm behind on everything. But Tolkien as literature, Tolkien as my impression that I'm getting so far now, I only have like 19 of his books. There's like 50 of them to get, and I've got maybe a third of them. And I've been looking through them. Just about finished The Lord of the Rings for the second time. But I've got the editions that his son Christopher Tolkien. God bless you real good, man. So grateful for that kid who took his father's work on and continued to process. I mean, we wouldn't have had the Silmarillion. We wouldn't have had the books of the Lost Tales. We wouldn't have had several of the main story characters and analysis in the Silmarillion. We wouldn't have had the earliest stages history. Christopher Tolkien just did us glorious wonders. Yeah, and that's what he said he was wanting to do. But yeah, he invented a mythology for the Brits because he said, well, my own country, you know, you've got the Finns, you've got the northern stuff, right? The Vikings, they've got their gods and all that, and you got the southern stuff, the Greeks and all them. But what about us? You know, the Brits. What about us? England, I tell you. And so he was trying to establish some kind of now the advantage I think Tolkien had, and it is what makes his work timeless. It just does. It is. He was a philologist. He was a linguist. He was superb with Anglo-Saxon and Old English. His translation of Beowulf, I've been reading that this week, and he actually did a series of lectures, which his son Christopher then put into the back of his translation of Beowulf. Oh, that's one you gotta own. Look it up. Go get it. J.R.R. Tolkien on Beowulf's translation. It's out of sight, man. It's fabulous. But his ideas are really interesting in the tree and leaf. Yeah, I'll tell you what. He's got something to that. There's something to that. I'm very impressed with his overarching approach. So, yeah, I will be doing some stuff on Tolkien as well and kind of put that together for us as a basis for recognizing. Now, and see, this is one of the downsides of being ex-Mormons, you guys, really seriously, because it's almost inevitable. It's a knee-jerk reaction. I know, I get it. That's why so many people quit watching my channel, because I did not go this route as strongly as everybody else seems to. And it's okay. I can live with that. But I am trying hard not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. If there's mythology involved, and if there's, it's magic and stuff like that, then none of it's any good. Well, the corrective that I believe seriously all sides need to do is start studying Tolkien. Believe it or not, I know this. It's my theory, and I'm sticking with it. I might begin advocating this with seriously cool examples, both for Mormons so that they can pull their heads out of their ignorant butts, and for we ex-Mos and post-Mos so that we can pull our heads out of our ignorant butts, because we're all ignorant in so much. And quite frankly, Tolkien is the cure. There was magic involved in Mormonism. There damn sure better have been. The problem is everybody's reaction or post-reaction has been overboard incorrect because of our categorizations, which Tolkien, as a Christian, he was a good ardent Catholic. He did not Catholicize any of his materials. He didn't put Catholic doctrine into it at all. He tried to stay away from that. But he has, there's a little bit of a Christian bent, but from a very end point of view. So okay, I will. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for your response. That's what I'm just kind of telling you what I'm exploring it and doing. And I've got like 15,000 pages of his to read. And there's absolute boatloads of analogies and concepts that will help us in our post-Mormon times deal with our family members, as well as our own psychologies and philosophies. And it will absolutely help Mormons who decide to stay inside too. Now, it would be asking for a miracle, which I don't believe would ever happen, if the church leaders would pull their heads out of their butts, although they don't believe their heads are up their butts, so they aren't going to think they have to pull them out. So they're going to continue being the blind, trying to lead the blind. Well, if we can turn on the light through Tolkien's ideas and views and his philosophy, then we can see where we've all gone awry and a potential corrective, which I am finding, quite frankly, somewhat hopeful. Hey, man, hot damn, there might be a light at the end of this tunnel after all. Where do you go from here once you realize, Joseph Smith, Russell Nelson, oh my God, I can't do it. You know, their conferences just bore the shit right out of you because they're boring, because they don't have any inspiration. Maybe the inspiration isn't in the prophets. Maybe the inspiration is in the mythological fairy tales literature. I'll leave it at that because that's intriguing. If that doesn't intrigue you, I don't know what I can say to intrigue you. But Tolkien has some keys that will turn and open some good doors, in my opinion. It is for me, I'll put it that way. And so I'm looking forward to trying to share some of that. But there is just so much fantastically interesting ideas in his relationship, his idea of the relationship between myth and history and fairy tales. Now, he did not believe in fairies the way the Victorians did, Tinkerbell, Disneyland type stuff. But make no mistake about it, fairy is very real. Now, it took a Tolkien for me to get to that point, but I get his point of view, and so I'm no longer going to poo-poo that. And then, you start seeing the interweaving between fairy and myth and legend, and history is a part of that. It's like I've told people, just to pique their interest or intrigue them. We used to be able to do that by saying, well, mythology is the reality. History is the mistake. You used to be able to do that, but I think that's kind of outworn itself. But now we're to the point to where the creation, Tolkien had a way of saying in his letters, especially to various people he wrote to, he would pull out an insight and they would say, oh, that's interesting. He said, yeah, the creator of that story helped me put it in there. And you're going, oh, interesting. And yet Tolkien was so humble, but God, he did the work of 20 men, man. His unpublished writings would have filled my bookshelves. And bless his son's heart, Christopher, who also amassed several people. There's other people who've been putting together the materials. But yeah, we now have the whole history of Middle Earth and all that. You got to realize there's 7 different ages technically in the Tolkien world. We more or less grasp somewhat 4 of them. But the movies that we watch and so love that were so well done because the funding was there. And Peter Jackson did a heck of a bang up job. No question. Him and his crew. They were given $900 million to make it good. And boy, did they. Right? So, but the stories that we've seen in the films at this point are only a part of the third age in the Tolkien universe. There's an entire, 4,000 or 5,000 year first stage, the Elden days, the Elder days. That's where the Silmarillion takes place. Then you've got another, how big? 5,000 year second age. Then you've got another 4,000 to 5,000 year third age, and the Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings, and the Two Towers, the Battle of the 5 Armies, the Return of the King, and all the characters that are involved, Aragorn, Gandalf, Radagast, the Hobbits, etc. They're only in a small part of that vast third age. That's all we've been given, man. We have 10,000 previous years, and we've got years up and past what we know about through the movies. All of that Tolkien was working on for 50 years, man. Phenomenal. Tolkien subcreated Middle Earth. So the way we shock people now is, as you study and read Tolkien, you come to the shocking realization that Middle Earth is actually real. And I'm going to leave it at that, because I know 90% of you are going to go away saying, oh, shoot, man, BYP has flipped his lid. He's lost it. Well, if I have, then I'm in damn good company with Tolkien. And tens of millions of people who grasp that meaning. It's not just invented mythology. That's the wrong approach. Tolkien is the corrective to that. So anyway, yeah, that's part of the overarching philosophy that I want to kind of start getting into and sharing. So yeah, Sauron seemed like a good Satan. He really did. Yeah, the Iluvatar are really good deities too. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Done a better job with the series Rings of Power. I know, and there are constant arguments and critiques and all that, and those are all good to go through. You have to wade through all the, the good, the bad, the ugly, the thick and the thin, and all that. So, but yeah, tell me you're kidding, Steve. Seriously? According to Daniel C. Peterson, Tolkien almost joined the church after reading the Book of Mormon. Oh, God. See, that's the problem. Jesus. That's the problem with LDS apologetics. Yeah, that is simply stupid. Almost. Well, that means for us it's really true, but it almost convinced Tolkien. That kind of faith promoting stupid bullshit just doesn't work. But the Tolkien literature is the cure. At least I'm thinking so. And Don Smith, thank you. I think we need it. It sounds like a series. I could make it a series. In fact, I'm going to. I will. I will do something about Tolkien. But not next. Well, I don't know. Maybe I will next week. Who knows? I've had a request for Sidney Rigdon. I don't know what it is about Sidney Rigdon. Isn't that interesting how fascinating he is to people? Yeah. It'll be fun to see. The more I learn, and it's difficult. What I need to do, I'm going to confess to you, I have more of the book I need is the Tolkien letters. That's the one I don't have that I really do need, because that's where he writes to several friends and family members through, 40 years of work on his masterpiece on creating Middle Earth. And that's where you get his ideas and insights and his understanding of the philosophy of truth and reality, of history, of mythology, of legend, of fairy, and how it all interlocks. And it does all interlock. We have somewhat broken apart, maybe. Maybe we've compartmentalized it too much, although there is a necessary compartmentalization that has to occur between the disciplines without question. But Middle Earth is not history, but that doesn't mean it's not existing and not real. I'll put it that way. Our modern age has basically given the nod to history as the final arbiter to what actually is real and actually isn't. And Tolkien is somewhat averse to that. He is also in line with that. But there's some nuance that needs to begin to be put into play to have a better balance. And it's for the psychology of the species. It's not like it's an individual. It's an individual thing and benefit. His philosophy and view, well, his books have been translated in 70 different languages worldwide. Tens of millions of copies of all kinds of his books for a very damn good reason. Because it hits you where it should. In your heart/psyche, mind, spirit. But it never really happened is entirely irrelevant to its serious truth. That's not historical. That's probably one of the best ways I can put that. So anyway, I'll count that as a teaser for those of you who wish to see a series or hear a series. And if you have friends who like Tolkien or whatever, spread the word. The BYP is going to do some Tolkien lectures eventually and start getting people over here. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and all that. Keep me up and going. If you would, that would be fantastic. Oh, okay. Oh, hey. Good point, Don. RFM is doing Shakespeare. BYP can bring the Tolkien. This is good. Now you have convinced me. You're right. RFM Shakespeare stuff. That's sensational. We post-Mormons, we came out of Mormonism, and so we're automatically starting behind the whole group. They've already taken off. We're behind. So RFM is bringing us up to speed on Shakespeare. Bless your heart, my dear friend. Yes, why not? I'll bring us up to snuff on Tolkien. That'll be my very, very good pleasure. It will be a boatload of work, but I'll be happy to do so because nothing is more pleasurable than reading Tolkien and watching those movies. Nothing like it. I'm just saying. And I mean, it hits you where it should because of its reality to us, individually and as a group. And that's the key to Tolkien. That's because he did not denigrate where is it? Oh, come on. Oh, that's because he did not denigrate this concept right there. He took it very serious, not as history, but as reality. That's a good note to leave it on. That should intrigue the hell out of you. It does me. I'm still blown away. When, if you can get a chance to read his Tree and Leaf essay, I'd seriously encourage you to. I'm telling you, that's where it's at. So anyway, all right. The church probably has de-emphasized Rigdon's contribution. That's true. Based on the fact that Brigham Young defeated him into succession and kind of kowtowed him and blew him out of the water, and everyone followed Brigham. But yeah. All right. Well, RFM, you keep doing Shakespeare. I'm going to jump on to Tolkien. I've got a lot more catching up to do than any of you, but this is good. Actually, that's interesting. I'm going to post this real quick. Doug Vincent says, I've heard the second season focuses on the love story between Sauron and Godriel. I kid you not, a freaking love story. Tolkien would be rolling over in his grave, perhaps for joy, not misery, because there's so much more behind the scenes than we have ever been given, either through the stories in The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, the Battle of the Five Armies and all that. Like I said, we're missing the first 10,000 years, and our years are not the Tolkien years either, of time and the relationships. Interesting, Elrond, the half-elf, half-human, is familiar with all four of the first four ages. He was alive during them all, which is electrifying. So, anyway, yeah, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to this. Sauron would make a good Satan, though. Okay, well, you've talked me into it. I'm going to have to start doing my homework again, some more, and I'll bring you some good stuff. I promise I won't disappoint you. And I am going to tie it back into. I mean, there's some actual. I've read some good stuff on Tolkien and Shakespeare, actually. Oh, sure. You're very welcome, Don. Appreciate you sticking around for it. I don't get near as large a draw as others, but those of you who do show up, I hope I always satisfy you and give you what you're looking for and send you away enlarged in soul and mind. That would be my ideal goal. So that's what I will always strive for. Hey, a collaboration with RFM on Shakespeare and Tolkien, that might be kind of hot. That would be fun and cool. Yeah, I'd do that. I'm game. I'm game if he is, but I'm going to have a month or two to prepare. I'll look into it. I'll try to find where someone was saying that Tolkien and Shakespeare were kind of, their philosophies were somewhat aligned in some respects that made for some interesting speculation on the characters in both Shakespeare and Tolkien, in some of Shakespeare's works, which he did, of course, draw on mythology. Absolutely. And the hero, the idea of the hero and all that. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to head out. Thank you so much for all your support and love and encouragement and excitement. Be sure and come back next week. I will be on next week. I will see if I can drum up some information on the church's misuse of Sidney Rigdon, beginning, of course, right back at the very beginning with, guess who? Joseph Smith. And then, of course, Brigham Young. And all. However, Rigdon was a loose cannon in some respects, based on what very little I know. So, might be interesting. So, all right, I'm out of here. Appreciate all of you. You bet. I will catch up to you just as soon as I know how to. Woohoo!